Hey, hello. Okay, so a little bit different today. Hello, everybody. What's up? So, I just had a conference in Sevilla, en Andalucía, al sur de España, y me gustaría hablar sobre esto. So, I lived in the south of Spain for a couple of years before I moved here to Vigo in the north. And to be honest, I lived in two different cities, and this is my third city in Spain. And to mention this, I was definitely a cis male in Barcelona first and then Granada. And I started my transition as a non binary person here in Vigo, Galicia, and then as a trans woman at this point also in Vigo, Galicia. So I am doing a PhD in phonetics and phonology of English. So I had to go around Spain and present my research to different universities, to different places, and try to talk to professors. And I was always worried about going down to the going down to the south because I know a couple of trans women here in Vigo, in Galicia, who told me really bad things about Andalusia and specifically Seville because one of their girlfriends lives in a town in Sevilla, even though she passes completely. The girl who lives in Sevilla, doesn't like it, and she told my friend that people are not nice, people are transphobic, and whatever. So from my experience, I would say I had great time. Now, I am a guitarist. So when I lived in Granada, I moved there because I wanted to play the guitar, learn flamenco, and get into the dance. But mostly it was the guitar. Got my guitar here, did not take it with me, but it was such a delight to be able to be in the south of Spain where people are playing music, dancing, clapping, just a random bar with a guitar singing, right? So it could be loud and annoying for many people. For me, it's a delight because I go outside alone and sometimes I just want to go hang out at the bar, just some peace of mind. And it's always nice to have a group of guys, usually, or a group of guys and girls taking a corner and dancing, singing, clapping, doing all that. So that's just love this about Spain. But apparently, this is not something you can find in the northern part of Spain, which is where I am. So people in the north of Spain hate so much on people in the south. People in the north are one of those like, we're better, we're like smarter, we're more civilized than the south. But what I notice from people in the north, they seem more civilized, but they're very picky about who they're friends with, which to me make them seem a bit more racist because they would look at you as a black person or a brown person and they would like, Moroccan, which is bad in Spain, or African, machista, any other stereotypical thing they'll just blurt out onto you before they even get to talk to you or meet you. Shame on you. But once you go to the south, then you have a mix of cultures to begin with because of history. So I lived in Granada, and Granada has the caves, you have the gypsies, you have the Alhambra, which is a Moroccan royal fortress slash palace, and then you have Realejo, which is a Jewish neighborhood, and then you have Albaicin, which is the most touristic neighborhood, just Arabic Muslim neighborhood, and then you have the new town, which is Catedral and all this, and this is the Christian part of Granada. So you had all these mixed cultures still present today, kind of coexisting together. If you feel like I want the Arabic history, I want Arabic people, you go to Calle Elvira in Granada, or you go to Albaicin, and you will find flamenco, people dancing, Arabic food, and all the good and bad that comes with those places and cultures, right? But then if you go to a certain neighborhood, el barrio, diferente, then you can find different people who can transmit a different vibe. And then that will be something that can fit your vibe. In general, Granada is a very international place, so you're not going to be feeling like the deep south, strict, traditional part of it if you do not have local friends. When I lived there, it was mostly foreigners that I hung out with, French people, Italians, or even like Spaniards or people from Granada, Granadinas. but who were a bit more open-minded, open into different cultures, want to meet different people, want to go out, have fun without their own circles, and want to experience something new. Now, when I went to Sevilla for the conference I just did, I was a bit worried because I heard all these bad things. One, when you're in the northern part of Spain, people hate the south. And most of these people have never been to the south. Like, how could you talk badly about a place that you never visited? Oh, yeah, but like my friend told me, oh, yeah, but I read about this. Oh, yeah, I heard about this. It's like, yeah, sure. And bad things happen in the north too, like, what are you trying to do? But eventually, I went to the South in this idea of I'm just doing this for the conference. I'm just going to present my ideas and I'm just going to leave. So maybe walk outside, listen to flamenco, go to a certain professional show and enjoy my time and out. Eventually, got my Airbnb, start walking around, and no one looked at me. No one talked to me first. Not in like in a bad way, like in the north and the city I live in. If I walk down the street, all eyes are on me because I stand out. One, because of my hair. Two, because I'm tall. Three, probably because I'm a tall woman. So they just think like, who the hell is this? And then they start analyzing you even deeper and they're like, oh wait, this is a trans person. And then they start even looking harder and they just, give you weird looks. In the South, I was walking alone and for the first time, because my transition was a very, let's say, healing process, I started walking outside with no headphones, just enjoying the sounds of people, the air. Because when I first came out, I always wore headphones because people will just look at me and people would say very rude things. So I decided that if I want to be healthy, if I want to control my environment and not force people into saying nice things, the only thing I could do is actually manage to isolate my own subconscious thoughts by limiting all these negative inputs from people. So walking with headphones eventually is a source of, I do not want to hear anything bad. I don't want to hear catcalls. I don't want to hear people saying angry, dirty, personal things to you when you're walking down the street. So eventually kind of control this by just having your headphones, getting in your zone. But I decided that let me test the city. I heard what people said. I want to see. I want to see if it's true. I never trust what people say. Do not trust what people say. People are not you. They have experiences that are different. They might even have their own prejudice before they go to the place, and that just blurs their vision about everything they experience because they come with this mentality of this is a bad place. Whenever they see a person, they're like afraid. Whenever they see a woman, they're like, oh, poor woman. It's like, no, you just want these to be true. Trust me. Take these and filter everything out. Eventually, I went to the conference. People were nice to me. I presented. People were nice to me. I walked around, talked to a couple of ladies because I'm in the linguistics field. There's always women everywhere. Shockingly, in my presentation section, there was no men. No one, which is kind of nice also. Then I went to the city, started walking around. The first night out, I was just hanging out, walking to different places, looking for the gay LGBTQ areas and trying to feel the vibe, if it's safe, if it's not safe. And I'm thinking like, well, this is October, in November. It's actually not very cold. I'm not cold now because it's kind of warm today. But I also really like this shirt. Isn't this cool? But back to Seville. So I'm walking. The first night I walked with my headphones and I started realizing because I took them off a couple of times because my ears were hurting, just like massive JBLs that are just literally there all the time. Eventually, the second night, I finished my conference on Friday and I walked to the city, or I took the metro, headed to the city, and then I did not have my headphones and I was just hanging out, walking around. I'm like, all right, let's see. So I went to the very, very touristy areas and went to the park, and then I went to some roads, and everyone used the right pronouns with me, which I kind of did not expect because I always thought to myself, like, yeah, they could probably tell I'm a bit different. I'm tall for once. But because there are a lot of tourists in the South, there are a lot of Northern women who are really, really, really tall. So they could be like, oh, just a foreigner. They're different. There could be anything. So men did not misgender me. Women did not misgender me. Older men, older women did not misgender me. It was terrific. So far, so good. Go to a couple of flamenco shows, talk to a couple people, and also when I leave the show, when I walk down the street, when I stop by a traffic light, women, older women, talk to me. Da 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 da, look at this, what is happening? Oh, look at this guy with his scooter. Well, you shouldn't be stopping for people. I'm like, yeah, I'm like getting angry with them. Yeah, these people are crazy, blah, blah, blah. And eventually, so they could kind of took me in as one of them. So they opened up when they saw me, as in women talk to women. Eventually, it's not like a big deal, right? So like this in the North never happened. Like people don't talk to people, guys to girls, whatever. No one talks to anyone if they don't know that already. So that's kind of problematic, and that kind of gave me a little bit of a weird vibe from the North, as in like rejection, because it doesn't matter how long you've been living here for. If you weren't born here, you do not have the friends here from childhood who are like you, eat like you, walk like you, think like you, say the same words, sentences, then you will be isolated. And I've talked to a couple of people from Galicia, but with African parents. Um, so the society, the local societies, the originals rejected them pretty much. So eventually, even though they were born and raised in Galicia, but they have really dark skin, they were always treated as foreigners. Oh, when did you get here? Oh, your Spanish is so good. Oh, you speak Galician. When did you learn this? Like, I'm from here. I was born and raised here. Like, is it too hard to believe? But this doesn't happen in the South as much. I'm pretty sure it does happen, but my experience in Seville was excellent. When I was walking, I was safe. Needless to say, in the first night out, I was just eating alone in the park in Alameda, which is kind of the gay neighborhood, and I got a couple of drinks and got food and hang out in literally the Alameda, one of those benches, alone. Which the area seems sketchy, dark, and weird, but I'm like, I just want to test the surroundings. I want to see like what's gonna happen. Eventually, a guy approached me and he wanted to talk, and I told him like, no, no, dude, I'm literally just here for some peace of mind. I just want to sit in silence and want to literally just don't want to talk. And he didn't understand. I kept repeating to him, like, no, I'm not going to talk to you. And eventually I just tell him, like, no, bye, no, bye. And whenever he opens his mouth, no, bye, no, bye, no, bye, no, bye, until he left. Um, so that happened, but it was not like an aggressive sexual way. Maybe he wanted something sexual, but he approached me as I'm a girl. I was sitting down, so it was clear to him, maybe like, oh, look at this girl, cute hair, looks cute, different, whatever. Definitely a boost. But then after it became un poco pesado, tío, I was just kind of like, okay, like I don't want to talk. Honestly, I'm just here to experience. Um, Second night after the conference, I went to an amazing flamenco show. Talked to the woman outside who apparently was the dancer of the show, and I complimented her on her eyeshadow. We had a little laugh, a little giggle, and everything was friendly. The woman at the door is just kind of, because I like to say things besides how much is this? Here's the money. I'm like, oh, how much is this? Oh, that's awesome. And they're like, yeah. So they're interacting with my energy, which is very Southern Spain scenario. You don't find this in the North. Like, I'll be in the North, like, yeah, crazy, huh? They're like, here's your card. Like, they don't want to have anything to do besides do their job and just leave you alone. The people outside of my house in this supermarket are actually very friendly. So I talk to them sometimes and they respond, and it's pretty cute. But the second night, the same thing kind of happened. I was walking close to the center, crossing from the park all the way to Alameda because that's where I take my bus back to my Airbnb. And a guy was walking behind me. And like I said, the second night I did not have any headphones. So a guy was walking behind me a little shorter. And I heard him the first time, like, chica. And I ignored it. And he started getting closer, chica, hola. And I ignored it until he got very close, chica, hola. And then I turned around and I'm like, oh, hola. And then he started talking, hola, me gustaría hablarte, es que eres muy alta, me gusta tu pelo mucho, joder, es que eres de aquí, ¿de dónde eres? ¿Qué haces aquí? We started talking and I told him, like, I'm just here on vacation, I'm leaving literally right now to my apartment so that I can go to sleep and take my airplane tomorrow, I'm leaving. But he told me, like, randomly, like, I work with classical cars, I sell them and make good money, I would like to talk to you, I would like to know you, take you out. And I'm like, flattering, but I told him, yeah, well, pleasure to meet you. I'm going home. Best of luck, but thank you. Bye. So I did that, walked away with a little bit of a grin on my face, like, cute. So I think if I were a little bit more on the earlier part of my transition, it could have been a bit more problematic. But honestly, I do not think it would have been that problematic because I was in Alameda, which was a gay LGBT neighborhood, and then I was in the center, which was full of foreigners and tourists. So the vibe already is everything is welcome, right? Because tourism brings a lot of money, and then you have lots of foreigners. So, and I do not look local-ish. I do have darker hair, so a lot of people think you could be from here. You could be from here. We don't know, but I'm tall and have curly hair, and they do look at my makeup and they're like, you could be a gypsy, honestly. Like, you could be a complete gypsy, una gitana. And I like flamenco, and I usually have like jewelry and like dark eyes. And I've had a couple of women compliment my eyeliner, my eye shadow, which is not much of a shadow. I just have a lot of a bronzer scenario under my eye. So if I look at them, you can kind of see this darkness, and they all really like it in the South. They're like, wow, your eyes are just mesmerizing. And I'm like, oh no, it's just makeup. And they're like, yeah, but also it's just so amazing, right? And I do the same thing with people. Like, I think living in the North taught me not to give compliments because people just keep rejecting them, ignoring them. And I just start feeling like, why are you so full of yourself? Like, it's just a compliment. Smile, say thank you, leave. Like, I'm not here to hit on you, guy or girl. Like, it's not personal. And this is something that I liked in the South. Now, I think I might be actually moving to the South after this because honestly, I really miss the music and I really miss the dance. So, flamenco dancing is where the women are super strong and independent, and they're so loud and they take all the space and they're the essence of the show, and it's just ridiculously well put. The guys in the back playing the guitar, clapping, the woman in the front higher, head higher than everyone else, chest up in the air, flirted, taking up all the space, showing her colors, but not in a girly, gentle way, in like a powerful. There's anger in it. Sometimes there's happiness, but it's just a very good image of femininity in all its parts. And I really, really like that about flamenco, even though the history of flamenco is a bit sad. But nowadays, it's an art form that exists mostly in the South, and most of the people who teach the dance are women because the dance is a women thing, even though men also dance. But eventually, women are the ones who are just kind of into this feminine dance that gets in flamenco. And the men's dance part is usually a lot shorter, bit more, I don't know, it's a bit different, not as complicated, not as expressive in certain ways with emotions. But men do dominate in the guitar, like playing the guitar. And women also dominate in compás, which is las palmas, in the clapping, and in singing, like in the back, the chorus. So you have both parts interacting. So I'm thinking like I want to go to Valencia because it's the north, and I don't want to go to a place that's kind of transphobic and whatever. But now I think me walking with my head up, with my hair, my makeup kind of simple-ish, makes people already see me as a woman. And instead of being treated as a trans person, I'm being treated as a woman. And there's a lot of women's rights in Spain. So I don't think I've faced much of the lash of, let's say, being trans in the South. But I was in the big city. So if I was outside, it's a bit different. But I'm honestly really missing the music. I am thinking of finding a flamenco dance class here in the north, but I am definitely going to be looking up some places in the south, even in Malaga or in Seville. I want big cities because you do have a mix of foreigners, Germans, Brits, Asians. I've had some of the best Asian food from China, from Korea, and I was just like super happy to find variety. Like, I've had jamon, excellent. I've been eating jamon for a while, but I was also missing other things from different places. And it was very easy to find. It was very good. It was very authentic food. And it was just a delight to have, honestly. And the people were always very talkative, very social, very interactive. So, double thumbs up. Sevilla, you won my heart. I'm gonna do some research about the city itself. Housing is super cheap. Apartments are super cheap. So I could live on my own. I can figure out all my process, save up some money, go pay for my surgery, and then figure out what do I want to do. But for now, we can pause. I'm listening to flamenco right now, so. Anyway, I'm gonna go, so I'll see y'all later.